welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today, very excited to share with you my exercise of the week, a 2-octave major arpeggio in the key of A. I'm going to get started teaching it to you straight before showing it to you with a triplet feel. Then we'll learn a very tasteful lick that utilizes those notes. Before we get started with our lesson, I want to take a moment to thank my supporters at patreon.com/swiftlessons. Each day you've helped me get one step closer to accomplishing my goal of setting aside more time to bring these lessons to you and a wide range of other resources. Thanks so much. Now, let's get started with your lesson. Okay, a close look at the fretboard, getting started with our major arpeggio rooted off of the 6th string. This is something that can be played in any key, but I'll be showing it to you here on the 5th fret key of A. It's going to sound like this. Okay, now before I break that down for you, I want to teach you the scale that this comes from. A slightly unorthodox position of the major scale in the key of A. We're going to have 5, 7, 9 on the E string. Moving on to the A string, same exact frets. 5, 7, 9. Onto the D string, the 6th fret, and the 7th fret completes that octave and that pattern of whole steps and half steps that we know so well. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now moving on to the next octave, we're going to have the 9th fret of the D string. Then we're going to the 6th fret of the G, 7th fret, and 9th fret. Then we're going to have 7th fret B, 9th fret B, and we're going to go over here to the 5th fret of the high E string. Both octaves. Okay, practice that in repetition. Okay, now that we have the scale down, let's take a look at this arpeggio. We're going to have the 1 to the major 3rd. Okay, so that is 5, 9. Then we're going to go to the 5th note of the scale, which is an E note 7th fret of the A string. Then we're going to collapse our middle finger and play the octave, which is the 7th fret of the D string. Then we're to the major 3rd again, 6th fret G string. Pinky goes up to the 9th fret of the G string. Okay, so that's going to be our 5th again. Then we're going to go to the high octave, 5th fret, high E string. Collapse the finger. 1, 3, 5, octave, 3, 5, octave. Once you have it forwards or ascending, you can try descending, which is just a little bit trickier. Okay, assuming that you've played that with dozens of repetitions, you're starting to get more comfortable and starting to pick up a little speed, we're going to move on to playing it with a triplet feel. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so that was 5, 9, 5. Then we're going to go directly with the middle finger to the 7th fret of the A string. And then go back to the major 3rd on the E string. That's the 9th fret. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're collapsing the finger and playing 7th frets of the D, A, and D. So far we have. Then we're going to do it with the major 3rd. Okay, that was 6 on the G, 7th on the D. Stretching the pinky out to the 9th fret G string. And then we're going to the high root, 5th fret high E string. And that little movement there will also take a little additional practice. Alright, practice that ascending before. Attempting to descend. Now some of you might be wondering, how exactly do you get faster at playing this sort of thing? Well, the answer is to break it up into small little chunks. I won't practice trying to play the entire thing at a blazing speed. I'll never make it. Instead, I'll just take a little tiny piece, like this, and play it just like that. Just as much as I can handle, okay? I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. And I'll do that dozens and dozens of times before I move on to the next note. All the way through until you can play it at that speed. Little by little, you will be able to attack the entire technique and be able to gradually build that speed. Okay, so you've practiced it straight and also with your triplet feel. Now we're going to learn a very nice little lick that utilizes some of the notes played in this technique. It's going to sound like this. One more time. And very, very slow. Now before I break this down, I want to mention that this last note will be changed dependent upon the chord that I'm trying to complement. Okay, we're zoomed in on the fretboard in the 5th fret position. We're getting started with this nice little phrase. Covering up the strings, that way they don't breathe. We don't want those thick strings resonating over those high notes that we're trying to sound. So I played 5 up to the 2nd note of the scale, the 7th fret of the high E string. And then I'm going to pull off before sliding back down to the 4th fret. Then, very important, with the same finger, I'll play the A note again. Then I'll play 7th fret, 5th fret, or B, A. Then I'm going to go up into that note that we had in arpeggio. That was the 9th fret of the G string. Then to the major 3rd, I'm right there on my C sharp, which is the 6th fret of the G. Then I might end it with an A note to resolve. Or I might go to the 6th. That would be the 7th fret of the B string, a very, very nice harmony over top of our A major chord. So really, these licks should always be kind of fluent. A lot of guitar players mistakenly think of their licks and solos as being something separate from the chord progression, when really the audience is going to be hearing them as one. So always respond to the notes in the chords when you put together these licks. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson. I hope you enjoyed this exercise and that your chops are better than ever. Thanks again to my supporters at patreon.com/swiftlessons. You guys are amazing. Thanks for making these lessons possible. I got plenty more lessons coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia saying happy picking.